y'all. Welcome back to Mouse Ears and Magical Chats. I'm here with Jenny and Jess. Hey, ladies.
Hello.
Hey. So we are going to do one of Jess's favorites.
I've been waiting for this.
Yes, mistakes were made. So I know that we have all gone to Disney and we would classify some of what happened as mistakes. And by us sharing some of our mistakes, we're hoping to prevent you from making the same ones. But because this is Jess's favorite one, Jess, can you start us off with some mistakes were made?
Yeah, so I strive for a very seamless, frictionless trip, but it's taken a minute to get there. And we still have moments where we make mistakes. And some of it's like, you can't plan for everything. But I do think that one of the reasons I'm passionate about planning Disney trips is you can avoid so many mistakes. There are so many things you can do to like get to a smooth, seamless trip. So I want to talk about a couple of mistakes that I've made. And number one is it's going to be specific to like how your group travels because my mistake may not be your mistake. But one mistake that we've made as our family traveling was not being aware of, I guess, the needs of who we're traveling with. So when my kids were really little, one time we took the first flight to Disney and we were staying on DVC points, and DVC check-in is at 4 p.m. That's when check-in, you might get a room earlier, but technically 4 p.m. On the regular resort side, it's 3 p.m. and your room's more likely to be ready early than DVC rooms. But I remember one time Jackson was really little and we flew in on like the 6 a.m. flight. So we were up at like 4:30 in the morning or earlier. And we got on the flight and he was awake for the whole flight because of the excitement and the whatever. And then this was when there was still Magical Express. And he fell asleep on Magical Express. And we got to our resort and the room wasn't ready. And we had nowhere to go. And my kid's asleep. And so we were just like kind of Disney homeless. And now if you're an adult and you're excited, that's great because you just go to the parks. Like you don't need your room to be ready. You leave your luggage with Bell Services and you go to the parks and it's great. Or you go to Disney Springs and you eat and whatever and it's great. But not when you have a little one who's sound asleep and you're homeless and you're just like walking around pushing a stroller if you have one. Or I've sat in the Wilderness Lodge lobby and just like held my sleeping child, which sounds amazing, but maybe don't like kill yourself getting on that first flight when that is the situation you're going to end up in. So now I've learned the first flight doesn't work for us because of the DVC thing. And it's hard to like fly in the evening and kind of burn points or pay for a room when you're not really getting like the day. If you're flying in and kind of checking in and going to bed, that feels hard in its own way, but it actually is better for us because then we wake up, we're at Disney and we go to the parks and we're like much more settled. Yeah, it's not good to burn your family out like before you even step foot in a park. Don't do that. That's a mistake. Don't make it.
I've made that mistake. I've brought my whole family to Disney. Been so excited. I mean, this is when Nicholas, who is now 14, about to be 15, was like probably 2 years old. Gracie was 5. We got there, landed. I brought everybody straight to Magic Kingdom. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was the busiest time of the day. Hot. This is before you pre-made your fast passes. Like, that was a mistake. And I remember sitting in line for Pirates of the Caribbean and I'm like, why did I even do this whole trip? I mean, then we rested and we got dinner and the rest of the trip was magic. But I do tell my clients this a lot, like, don't push it. That's why it's great to like stay at a deluxe or a moderate and like have restaurants right there that aren't quick service. Like we like to go settle, like have a nice dinner, check out the pool, go to bed early that night.
And then you wake up and you're there.
And you're there fresh. And you're fresh and you're starting. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Now when I travel with grown-ups,
so
6 a.m. is my friend.
You're not sleeping.
Yeah. Because
you got things to do.
Yeah.
But
But even
even
little
with your
kids or
kids-
older people.
Well, even like your kids are older, you could totally take them to Disney Springs
Yeah.
or find something for them to do. But it is hard with the baby that needs to nap. Yeah.
We just like walked laps. One time we did it with Mari too. We just ended up taking turns walking laps, pushing the stroller around. And it's like, this isn't a real life complaint. Like, I had to push my kid around in the Wilderness Lodge. Woohoo, you know?
Things to take into consideration when planning your flights, though.
Yeah, it's just not worth stretching everybody.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
I would just walk them right in front of the guest services and hope that they would feel bad and find a room.
Assign my room. Yeah.
Oh, they look so
Yeah.
sad. Let's get them a room.
Yeah.
Jenny, what is your mistake?
Do not neglect the important parts of your body when you're on your trip. So
Are we talking about like chub rub?
that, and I have a story about that.
Okay.
And your feet. Do not neglect your feet.
So true.
Yep.
And do not think you're okay. Like every hour you need, especially if you're there in the summer, you need to drink water all day. Not just water. Throw in a Gatorade or a Powerade. I believe they sell Powerade in the parks. That's like who they're partnered with.
One, yeah.
Yep. And now I've even started bringing because a lot of my older kids will do it, but like the liquid IV.
Yes, those are so
like,
good.
and I'm just like pour it, like drink it. They will do more, but like don't neglect that. Reapply your sunscreen. Burns at Disney are not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Drink your water. Take care of your feet. So everyone makes fun of me when I go to Disney. I have 2 pairs of sneakers. I have the socks that the marathon. I do not run marathons. I do not run half marathons or even 1/24th of a marathon, okay? I run not at all. However, when I'm in the Disney park, I treat my feet like they are marathon runners' feet. I get the moisture wicking socks that go on your toes like a glove. I can actually send links. We
I
can
was
link
gonna
this
say, I
all.
want to see the socks.
Put all the stuff in the show notes today.
And I literally talk to marathon runners, talk to ballerinas, research this. This is how they take care of their feet. So like I had a couple Disney trips where I ended up with huge blisters and like it ruined my trip.
Yeah.
I buy, it's called blister powder. 2 scoops go in each sock every day. You shake up the sock, it coats the sock, but it's like a wax that coats your foot. Drastically decreases the amount of blisters and rubbing. So I use the marathon runner socks. If they get wet, if they're sweaty, if I change them out, like not like in the parks, but like if we go back, take a break, I'm changing them out. Blister powder. This is probably wrong information to give to the public. However, this is what I do. This is what the ballerinas do. If I get a blister, I pop them. I have the mole skin and the liquid bandage, like whatever that goes over it. I will pop it. I will put powdered, I think it's powdered sulfur on them. Dries them right out. Then I put the liquid bandage on it.
Oh yeah.
Then I wrap it in like one of those latex bandages, then moleskin. I'm telling you, you need to pay attention to your feet. Those are the things that I do. I bring a whole blister kit with me just because I have suffered with them. With the blister powder and the socks, since I started using those, I've had no issues. Like even my dad, like I will say I look at everyone's feet every night.
Inspection. It's like the military, like
Because if you don't like your feet and like you have to like, and the powder's really good if you're there in the summer, so you're not getting like that sweaty moisture in your sock. It protects your whole foot. The blister powder is really great. So that, drink, take care of your feet, chub rub. Okay.
I like the body glide.
Real thing.
yeah, the body glide.
That stuff has not ever really worked for me. What I found works more as like powder, just like regular, not baby powder, but like the Gold Bond.
Are we talking about like the between the legs chub rub?
Yes.
Okay, because I use the body glide and I use that for running too.
That doesn't work for me. And I think it's because I try to do it in the summer when you're like sweaty. I don't know. But we do take care of that. And what I find is I try to avoid it altogether. And I will get like spandex to wear like under my shorts, under my dresses, all that. My son Nicholas, he had it really bad once. We were there in the summer. It rained. If it rains and you continue to walk around in your wet shorts and underwear, you're going to get really bad like chub rub rash. And that's what happened to him. And we were outside. We were like, my daughter Gracie's crying because she cries every time she leaves the Magic Kingdom. And it was our last
Aw.
night. And we were staying at the Poly. I'll never forget it. And it's just the three of us. And we're waiting to watch the Kiss Goodnight, which is like the park had already been closed for 30 minutes. And families are saying goodbye to the castle and walking out and getting their pictures. And Gracie's crying and like, I love it, Mommy. I love it. And my probably 6-year-old son at that point, who had been walking like this because he had the chub
Waddling.
so bad, is like, okay, we get it, you're sad. Now I need to go back to the hotel room so I can powder my GD balls. But he said the whole thing. And then families like stopped and looked at us. And I was like, I'm like, it's our last day. And they're like, oh, okay. Take care of that stuff, because honestly, once you get that especially, like, you're not getting rid of it. There's no
Right.
getting rid of it. Yeah.
That was a good
Can
one.
I share a mistake on the other end of the weather spectrum?
Yes.
We have not as much summer people, but we've done these trips in December and January for a few years, and it is like so hard to pack for those trips because you need to bring everything in terms of layers. Like I've had week-long trip where one day everybody's in shorts and t-shirt and the kids are in the pool, and then the next day they're freezing. And like we talked about on our December trip, we were cold. It was 50.
Really
I mean,
cold.
it was really cold. It was like in the 40s. Well, so we made the mistake on one of these December trips when Jackson was really little, and he's turning 10 this month, where we didn't bring any good like extra layers at all. And Disney sells the little gloves, but when you need them, everybody else needs them too, and maybe more than you do if you're like from the north where like we are. And the shops will like run out of the standard little gloves and hats that are the more affordable like emergency purchase that you're going to make. So bring a little bit of layer and hope that it stays in your suitcase under your bed, but you have it if you need it.
Mhm.
And just be ready, because you probably can throw money at the problem, but like when you have a whole bunch of hats and gloves at home, you don't really want to buy hats and gloves while you're in Florida.
And especially if you're a family of like 4 or 5,
It's a lot.
6.
Yeah. And
We've had to do that.
the sweatshirts, like I bought a sweatshirt this last time, but that's because that's what I wanted. If you need to like emergency buy a sweatshirt, they're not cheap. And if that's not the souvenir you wanted, like it kind of stinks to get pushed into that because you didn't bring an extra layer. So bring layers.
Layers.
Well, that was my mistake I was going to bring up, because the first trip in December I ever took with Leslie, I did not expect it to be in the 30s, and I had packed for what I thought Florida was.
Yeah.
And we were so cold. So I went over to Disney Springs, and I can't think of the name of the store, but it has more of like an Asian name on it.
Uniqlo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything was super affordable.
It's like
in
Old
that
Navy prices. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we ended up. Like, I got a sweatshirt and like a down vest and stuff. And that's what we ended up wearing. But, we did have that same issue ish this December when we went on our trip, like Jess was saying, because I had really cute outfits I wanted to wear to the parties, but it was just too cold.
That stunk. Yeah.
I know. So I have these
I
really
still have
cute
them for this
outfits in
year.
my. I'm going again in December this year. Maybe it'll be warmer, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
hopefully wear the cute outfits.
I was just looking at my list of mistakes because I kind of forgot my other one, but I have 2 more of like real life examples. The first is super avoidable and kind of embarrassing to share here because this was like a basic mistake, and I've now moved on to expert level mistakes. We similarly, probably even on the same trip, I dragged my family out too early in the morning, and it was like rope drop at Animal Kingdom, and I didn't realize that the safari was not part of early, whatever it was called back then, but the early entry hours. And so there was a huge crowd of people like waiting. And you can still go over in the area and like wait for an attraction that's not open, but it kind of stinks. Like we didn't need to do that. And my family was annoyed. It was like, why did we get out of bed this early we can't even go and like ride anything. Like there were very few things we could ride with a little tiny kid at that hour, and we just did not need to be there at that moment. Like we are not, as we've discussed on this show, my family, we are not early morning rope dropping Disney people. We get moving, but like not at 6 a.m. on vacation. That's not. So that I remember, like even like Starbucks wasn't quite open yet, and people were just like, "Why are we here? Like, why did you bring us here?" That stunk. You can check the times on things. There's a list of like what's available during the early hours, and don't go rope drop something that's don't.
See, where I think that outside of not checking the time frames, to me, not rope dropping is a mistake because there's so fewer people there. And I love those early morning hours when the park just feels so much less people.
Yes.
And then I like to take my break once it gets all peoply in the afternoon.
When I show up.
Yeah. I'm then leaving for my kids' nap time, or if I'm on an adult trip, I just like laying down and taking a power nap. So Jenny, you're rope drop to close, aren't you?
No, I hate rope dropping. I am a closer. Yeah. And I will stay out beyond close. We might rope drop once or twice. We like to really stretch it in the evenings. And I do find like after the fireworks, like the rides we want to ride, like it empties out because all the little kids go home. So like, especially at the Magic Kingdom. But yeah, we are the type that we will rope drop a couple days. We are not open to close. We always go back and take a break. Like unless we don't go into the park till like noon or 1, then we will stay till close.
Straight through.
Yeah.
But typically we hop around a lot. You know, when you have the privilege to go as often as we all get to go, like we know what we want to go in and do. And my kids are like, know what they want to do. And we're not riding Carousel of Progress every trip. That's like every third trip. So it's like, we're not rushing to get every single little thing in, which is very nice. And not everybody has that privilege. But I will say we also get the lightning lanes, the multi-passes. Like I know that's like a separate budgeted item, but if you can afford it, then you should get that because that also helps in the parks.
Makes it easier.
My time is worth the extra.
Yep.
All right, Jenny.
I haven't.
Sorry,
oh,
Jess.
you want me to go? Or
Go.
Okay. I have so many mistakes.
It's so hard for me because I barely make any mistakes,
You don't make mistakes
ever.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Jen.
I am totally kidding.
One that is not a mistake that I've actually made in real life, but I'm like so aware of it. And when I am talking to people about planning their park days, this is like a big thing that I want to surface for people. If meeting characters, especially face characters for some reason, is important to you, and I'm thinking about like Epcot and Animal Kingdom in particular, really check the app to make sure you know what time the My Disney Experience app, because a lot of characters have to go. They're not in the parks all the way until close. So if you're taking a break, like if you're going to leave the park for a midday break and come back for dinner time, but you want to meet Asha from Wish, you better make sure that you check in the app of when her meet times are, because she may be back. I can't remember where Asha lives, so I picked the wrong character to exemplify here, but she may not be there. And so then when you come back for your dinner and you're excited to go meet Asha, her spot is like closed until tomorrow. And that stinks. I walk by it and this is like one I think is like very visceral because I see it. Like I visually see this in the parks where I see like people going up to meet Moana, or they walk by and they see the Moana meet and greet spot with like the curtain is closed and the sign is up that's like her times. And they're like, oh shoot, she's done for today. The rides will stay open. Like if you want to ride the Finding Nemo, like Under the Sea with Nemo and Friends, that will be open when you come back later. Like meet Asha and then take your break. Ride Nemo later. Who's here? Is Asha here with us?
Sorry, my husband just walked by and I thought everyone was up in bed. And I just like literally like
the noise canceling on the headphones is like
yes,
really
yes, yeah. I had no idea.
So if you want to, know your priorities. Like I don't want you to like make a TikTok of like at this, at 1:05 we do this and at 1:07 we go to the bathroom. Like, don't do that. But no, here are our priorities. Here are the time frames those things happen. And then when you're in the parks, or like if you're working with Jenny or me, like we can help you like do the blocks in the order, and then you kind of like can jazz it while you're there and riff. But characters are not there all the way until park close. So like being aware of, and show times at Animal Kingdom is a big one too. If you really want to do Festival of the Lion King, like that, the last show is like 4:30 or something. And the park might be open until 6 or 7, but the performers who do that show are not there. Like they're not. So ride Everest later, do the show earlier when it's happening. It's more enjoyable when the show's happening than when it's not. It's hard to watch the show when it's not happening.
And to piggyback on that, a mistake that I've had clients made, that I've made myself, is literally wanting or planning out a schedule, a step-by-step schedule. That is never going to work, and all that's going to do is make you focused on what the next thing is that you have to get to by a certain time, and you're going to miss the Disney ambiance. A lot of it is just letting go in with, like Jess said, have your priorities. Know when those things are going on. Have a sketch of your day. Have an idea in your brain how you want your day to go. But to say, we're going on Mine Train, we're going to rope drop that, so we're going to be off it by 8:15, and then we're going here, and then we're going here, and then by 9 o'clock we're going to be, no, that never works. And you're just going to drive yourself nuts. You need to be able to stop when you need a snack, stop when you need a drink. If you run into the citizens of Main Street, stop and have a chat with them. There might be characters roaming. Like, don't make the mistake of feeling like you need to plan out every second. Now, it is Disney, so there must be a plan. There must be an idea, but we can help you with that.
I want you to know like which park you're going to on which day.
Yes.
Mostly. And that can change, but like you kind of have to have an idea and know what your priorities are. Because it's hard to find out about somebody's priority like partway through a day and not be able to help them do the thing that's really important to them. It's like good to sort of know what.
You need an idea, because you also like don't want to say, oh, I'm going to do this, then this, and then they're on the opposite sides of the park and you're adding on. Like, we help you with, like, I like to call it a narrative of your day. Like the story of your day. What's your story of your day? And no time's attached, but like when you get off this ride, now is a good time. Oh, you want to see Gaston's Tavern? Now's a good time for a snack break. Like, keep in mind that's going to be close around while you're doing these things. Like, I guess don't over prepare and don't under prepare. Just perfect prepare.
Prepare properly. Especially the way we want you to. I mean, it's true. And I say jazz because you kind of have like themes and then you're sort of like riffing on it in the moment. Like, with jazz, like you kind of, I could be wrong about this,
no,
but I have the
agree.
sense that like the performers sort of know like you're saying, narrative, like sort of the themes we're playing. But look, I've like gone to early entry at the right time with my family happy, not mad at me. And we get to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway because that's where we're going first during early entry. And that sucker's not open yet. So you've got to make another plan. We're jazz playing right off the bat. We're going to go over to, and I like kind of freeze up because I am somebody who's like, but this is the plan. And not to the minute and not like, but when I have something in my head is like, this is what we're doing, it throws me off. And I like to like, because then also when I'm with people, I'm like, well, but I'm the leader. Like, what do I do? And I know it's not that deep, but that's how it can feel. And like sort of knowing like, okay, but we also want to do Toy Story Mania. So like, let's head over there. It looks like that's okay. The other, like the good changes that happen, and that's like what you're talking about ambiance and stuff. On this January trip where we were with our friends, Jackie, who joined us on an episode, and her kids, we walked into Magic Kingdom the first park day, and we had flown in the night before. We were all rested, ready to go to the park. And we walked in, and Mickey at Town Square Theater only had a 10-minute wait, which I know is like no wait, right? It's just like walk in. So I was like, hey, and that's right when you walk into the park, right? So, and this is their first visit. And I was like, we were headed somewhere to do something that we had all decided was the goal. But like we walked in and Mickey's, got no wait. I said, hey, do you guys want to go meet Mickey? It's like, no wait. And that was the best way to start that day. It was like immediate tears, the little ones hugging Mickey. It was perfect. perfect. If we were like, no, but we're going to Mine Train,
You would have
kids.
missed that. And how would a good, like, Mickey welcoming you to his playground, like,
So cool. Yeah.
the ambiance is so important.
It's really important. So priorities, but not like,
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
on the travel agent kind of thread that you guys have, I want to say that before talking to Jenny, that was a mistake I made. Was not using a travel agent because, like, I went to Disney all the time. I didn't think I needed one, and Jenny's like, "Could you just book with me? It would help." And I'm like, "Yeah, definitely."
Just do it. I'll give you a gift card.
But I have never looked back because I didn't recognize, like, one, I don't think that I probably got all the discounts I could have gotten because,
True.
like, travel agents are up on it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you guys would tell me, like, hey, there's a new discount that you qualify for, and then you would automatically apply it. Where when I'm booking on my own, I have to recognize that there is a discount and then, like, make the phone calls myself. But I will say the one thing that, like, completely sold me forever on using a travel agent was that trip that I happened to book with Jenny was, like, the COVID trip. Like, I had booked and then COVID
Wasn't it?
hit,
Yeah.
and she sat on the phone to switch all the stuff to a later date, and I didn't have to do that.
And it was
Where-
like 8 hours. And not like, I'm not tooting my own horn, but there was every travel agent in the country was trying to help their clients.
and I'm sure it
And
was
we had
like
to wait.
also Disney was also like figuring
everyone-
out
Yeah,
what to
yep.
do for everybody because
Yep.
it was so
Disney closed
unprecedented.
down, so
Yeah.
everyone was trying to do it, and I didn't have to do my individual trip. Like, Jenny did it and called me up at one point and said, like, hey, I spent 8 hours on the phone, but your trip's moved. Great job.
We got it moved, and yeah.
Yeah, so forever completely sold on using a travel agent, and I do think it was a mistake I made not using one prior to that.
Too, because like I also did not use a travel agent for my Disney trips before, because I feel like just people don't understand. Like, I never understood how it worked, how like it really is just like no different than booking on your own, except now you got a person to help you. But yeah.
Well, and you guys always pull, like, I say I'm interested in these hotels or this is my budget, and then, like, I get a list of places within that budget or the ones I was interested in, like how much they're going to be, and like, I would have to do that all on my own, like go and look at each one, which sometimes is fun, but just having, like, this email with a list of all the places that I am interested in, it just takes less time
Mhm.
and it's just more streamlined.
Exactly. And that's not to say like it's a mistake to not book with me and Jess, though I think you should, or like your favorite
Right.
Litterini travel agent. But if you find a travel agent that you connect with, because
Yeah.
everybody's different, supporting the industry in general is really good. Most travel agencies and travel agents that you're going to work with that specialize in Disney, a lot of them are just small businesses, and you're supporting a small business. So just in general, yeah, like if you can reach out to a travel agent, a travel agency, do it, because
Well, and it's free to us.
it's free
You
to
guys get a commission,
use. Yeah.
but, like, it's free to us. It doesn't, like, my cost of my trip would never go up
Nope.
because I use Jenny or Jess.
Disney itself keeps
Just
the
keeps
built-in
the-
commission.
Yeah.
But then you're on your own. They are not helping you. I mean, the people are great when you call in the call center. Those people are great, but again, like, you're calling on your own. Like, you basically have a secretary that is very smart, but like is going to help you make sure of everything. Like a what's like a full luxury concierge.
Yeah. And I get an
Queen.
email to remind me that my dining day is coming up, so I don't forget the dining day. And I think you guys book dining if people want it, right?
Yeah, so I have clients, so we try not to, because I try not to book everyone's dining. I used to, and what I found happened is I was doing my clients an incredible disservice. So it is a mistake for you. I feel like it's a mistake to not book your own dining, because within booking that dining, you are just more familiarizing yourself with the app, and you're going to be much more equipped when you're in the parks to make those changes if we're not available to help you. But yeah, I have clients that I still will book for, like if they're working or if they're nervous or if it's a big crowd, or we'll divide and conquer and I'll have them make like an easy one while I make the rest. Or like I have a lot of nurses that are like, they're working.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
like Melissa and I will, we're not going to leave you. We want you to get your dining. It's very important to us. So, but yeah. And another mistake people make, myself included, this is not a park thing, but a lot of people just be wary of like social media groups. A lot of them are very helpful. I do tell my clients to join, like if they're going on a cruise, I do encourage my clients to find the Facebook group for that cruise, because you can join it and then you can talk with people, you can meet people before you go on the cruise. You kind of learn like lots of things that maybe the travel agent's not going to know, but like those people are like,
well, and you can get in on the fish extenders, and
yeah,
I'm in
all
2 of
that
these
stuff
right now, people.
Yeah. So, but you also need to be careful, because sometimes people will go on a cruise and think or any trip and think they are an expert. I will never call myself an expert on Disney, on any travel. I am not an expert. There is too much to know. There is so much to do. I'm never going to do it all. I'm going to try. I'm going to make the call if I don't know. I'm going to find the answer if I don't know. But a lot of mistake people make is, I've had clients come to me and say, well, I read on this Facebook group ABC, so I did that in the park, and it's not even a thing. And so you just need to be careful, because there is a lot of misinformation.
Yeah, some of those groups are better than others.
Some are better than others, but I always say take it with a grain of salt. And if you have a travel agent, you can say, is this true? And we will tell you yes or no. And if we don't know, we will find out. But just be wary of the stuff you hear online. Some of it's great.
True. It's true.
You gotta
Remind me. I wanted to bring it up just because I think this is a potential mistake, and I don't know yet. I was watching a YouTube of another guy talking about Disney who was really into Standby Skipper. But then he found out that if there's an issue with one of your lightning lanes, and then the Disney cast member finds out that you had been using Standby Skipper, they won't help you. And I don't know if that
I
is
think
true.
there's a lot of
or
so I'm gonna walk the line very carefully, because this is just your friend talking. I'm wearing no hats other than my just your friend hat.
just your friend.
Standby Skipper, like in their stuff, they very clearly say they follow Disney's terms and conditions. And I think the reality is Disney and its wonderful legal team would shut that down pretty quickly if it didn't. But I also have heard that because the thing is, when you use Standby Skipper, you're friending them in my Disney experience. And so there is like some level of, if you went to a Blue Umbrella and they see it in your friends, like they'll know that you're using it. I think it's, my guess about this is that it's like certain cast members being salty. But the reality is that if it was, I mean, we talk about like Disney copyright and stuff all the time. And like you are an ear creator, and like the ones you're wearing right now, you made, like, those are totally fine and kosher and whatever. But if you had the Disney copyright, like fabric or whatever it is,
Yeah.
trademark
I
fabric,
can't
you
sell these
can't miss
guys.
those, right?
These have
Yeah.
to be just mine.
So there's rules, and Disney like makes sure the rules are enforced. And therefore, if they wanted to, if there were rules they were needing to enforce, it would be done. So I don't know about that. I've seen those too. I also have never gone to a cast member when I also haven't had issues. So I don't know.
All right.
But I have a cell phone thing, if I can segue in that way. I do have a like mistakes were made real life example. Disney is not small, and it's not uncrowded. So when your group splits up,
40 square miles.
make sure
The size of San Francisco.
San Francisco, and my lights went out, so I look weird, guys. Weirder than usual. If someone separates from your group, if you're touring as a group and someone says, I'm gonna run to the bathroom and I'll catch up with you. No, they're not, because that place is big. There are too many people. Bring your phone. If you are an adult and you have a phone, don't leave your phone behind with your group in like the stroller or whatever, because you're never gonna find each other. It's no fun. And then you're like losing time trying to catch back up with each other. Like, keep your phone on you or your whatever.
Bathroom time is scrolling time, Jess.
So, I didn't think I'd ever be able, like, I still am like, I mean, you've been on the bus with me when I'm on the bus and I do this. I'm doing that in the bathroom too. Like, it just feels right.
I'm sitting there.
I want to smell my body, like my own body. I don't want to smell other smells.
Okay.
I'm
You
in
know
and out
what?
there
I
so
feel like
quick.
they do a good job in there. They must be like well ventilated because I never walk into a Disney one being like,
No, never. Magic.
like I've never like that's never been a thing to me.
I
Magic.
wish Jess, who's always with us in vibes, Jess and I went this one weird trip where like everything went wrong, right? Where we got like diverted to Boston. That trip was wild. But on that trip, the Tangled bathrooms were vile.
Really?
Vile. We were like, what is happening? It was the Halloween party. And those Tangled bathrooms, it was worse than like a Six
Was this
Flags.
post-COVID? Like, because I
It
feel
was
like
so
right
bad.
after COVID, like
Yes, when they were
there was
understaffed.
something up right after COVID. People were talking
Yes.
about the trash cans being overfilled and stuff like
It
that.
was
Like,
2022. It was the fall of 2022.
I
And
just don't think they had enough staff. Maybe like
it was
they were
bad.
like trying to build it back up. I don't know.
There was garbage everywhere. It was so bad. We were just like, this is weird. Like, this is not normal.
Yeah, I know.
And it hasn't been like that again. But sometimes there are just smells, and that's not on Disney. Well, it might be on the culinary team, but it's not on the bathroom team. It's not on the custodial team.
All right.
You mean the cast? They're part
Still
of the
my
cast.
scrolling time because it's just a moment away from the group where I just get to be like in my little box. I've posted many things from a Disney bathroom. Just
It's
saying.
amazing.
That must be what my husband does when he goes to the bathroom at home too.
Mm-hmm.
Scrolls.
He's managing
what my
social
husband does.
media.
Scrolls.
Told him
Scroll
that's how
some
he's going to
more.
get hemorrhoids.
Lovely.
All right. Any other mistakes? Were
Yes,
made that
Jess, you have 2 on your list that I don't think you've talked about that I really think you
Really?
should too.
Well, the only one, I don't have it open now. All my technology is weird.
Do you want me to tell you the ones I want? I just want you to
Well,
check out.
not booking a bounce back
Yes.
is a real one. And so my last trip, I wanted to book a bounce back for myself. And I went to Sandals in Jamaica right after our Disney trip. Like, I was home for like 3 days, and I had someone else I needed to book a bounce back for. And I actually remember I had to ask you to do it for me, Jenny.
Yeah,
I don't know I like couldn't do it. Oh, because we had to call them in, because the bounce backs we have to call in. And I was in Jamaica, and I was like, I can't figure out how to make this call. It's blah, blah, blah. So you called in for my client,
yeah.
but I didn't do one for myself because I'm a ding dong. And don't be me. I was sad about that.
It's the deepest discount you can get.
Bounce back. So what I'm talking about, I
down.
should go back and like explain what the heck I'm talking about. Right after your stay, if you stay on property, the 7 days after you check out, you can book. Basically, you can book your next trip at a really deep discount. The room discount is like up to 35% or something. And you don't have to be an annual pass holder. You don't have to be a Florida resident. It's like, and you can stay where you want to stay. Like, it's subject to availability, but it's a great deal. And it's the same thing as your regular Disney bookings, like $200 deposit. It's super flexible. It's refundable up to the 30 days, blah, blah, blah. All the things. It's like a fantastic thing to do, but you have to book it within the first week you're back from your trip or while you're still there. My husband just sent me another mistake. It's a good one. So I forgot to do it and I timed out. So I wasn't able to book my bounce back. So I don't have that one. So sad. I'll have to go back to Disney so I can book a bounce back. Don't forget to do it because it's so flexible. You can move it if you need to, like if something comes up or you just decide like I had Poly Dreams, but I've got Caribbean Beach budget. Like we can move it.
You can cancel even and get your money back.
Yeah.
Deposit back too.
But if you don't do it in those first 7 days, it's not happening for you.
And I've had clients that aren't sure and they're like, can you just book me something random for like in a year? And I'll think about it because, you're coming back home from vacation. It's a lot. So they'll like, here's my credit card, put my $200 deposit down, knowing they can get it back. And then they'll revisit it in like a month or maybe not even for 6 months. And then they're like, okay, now we want to use it. Blah, blah, blah.
Now we know when we can get the time off and all that. It's really flexible. But if you don't do it, then you can't do it later. So
got to be within the 7 days. It's like just kind of like
grabbing the coupon in a way and then move. Coupon's like a crass word for this, but it kind of is like
it is
holding your option open to use it later.
And I've been doing this for 7 years. I have never had even like maybe the only thing that could come close is a Florida resident discount or a military discount. But 9 times out of 10, or probably like, I feel like the bounce back is always like, I don't know if I can't remember if anything has ever beaten that for a client.
Well, my December trip for Coronado was originally a bounce back, and then just
Did you find it better?
An annual pass holder.
One AP rate, yeah. But like most people, that's us, right? Like most people, because that was you and I staying together, we both had annual passes. Like most people don't have that and aren't going to have that. So like that's a pretty, and like Jenny, you're saying like Florida or military, like those are, most people I talk to are not qualifying for any of those three. And so this is like the best.
Absolutely.
Discount.
Grab it so you have the option, because also bounce back, like military, like any Disney promo, is limited, and they might only have 5 rooms for these dates that are only standard rooms, but you want a theme park view room. So in that case, maybe you do use your annual pass holder discount. But the bounce back, again, it's hard to beat it. It's really hard to beat it.
I had a couple that because we just went through 2026 bounce back dates just came out, and I had a couple folks who booked to bounce back for 2025, but they want to go in 26. And so I knew the dates that they were looking at, and I was able to like get those moved as soon as those 26 dates came out. And it is limited. Like so if you kind of know, it also gives us a chance to have our list and then move you at the earliest possible chance. So like Jenny's saying, if there are only 5 rooms at Coronado at that view that you want, like you're better off if somebody knows that and is like making that move for you right away. Because when those 5 rooms are gone, they're gone. Like they're not coming back. I definitely didn't book myself a bounce back. And similarly, your placeholder for cruises, if you sail on Disney Cruise Line, book yourself a placeholder,
those are refundable too,
so that you've got 10% off your next cruise, and you don't need to know when you're sailing again, or you can, and that's awesome. I saw today that Cruise Line has a promo out for if folks who have a placeholder, there's 30% off a whole bunch of sailings in this year. So if you're sitting on a placeholder and and you're flexible, there's some really good deals right now to like combine your placeholder.
Glad you
with
brought
this
that up,
promo.
because I have to email my placeholder people that.
Yeah. If they're flexible and they're just kind of like, there's a couple cases right now where you can sort of Disney discounts in a way that I haven't. I mean, I've been doing this forever, but I've been like watching Disney for a long time. There's like stacking that's happening. That's pretty rare for Disney. Some good deals.
All right, we have time for one more mistake.
Skyliner one.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah. And this is not one I've done, but it's one when 26 opened. When I was giving somebody some options of like where to stay and dates, I pulled one that was like, and in a January date frame we were looking at, and I said, and you could look at Caribbean Beach, and here's why. And then I was like, the Skyliner is closed during those dates. We're not doing that. Like, so don't. And I caught it, but be aware of like when, as much as you can, of when things are closing. The Skyliner specifically usually has scheduled refurbishment sometime in January. They didn't this year, but every other year of the Skyliner has closed for a week or so in January. And if you're paying to stay on the Skyliner because you want that as one of the that's one of the reasons, for you, make sure you're just keeping an eye out for the sky. Like, don't book a Skyliner resort. I'm going to book French Quarter every time. If I want to stay at a moderate and it's the week the Skyliner's down, I'm booking French Quarter. It's small. You have one bus stop. I'm not going to stay. I love Caribbean Beach Resort, but I'm not going to stay there when the Skyliner's down, because then you're riding a bus and there are all those stops. And now, if you love Caribbean Beach Resort and that's where you want to stay there whenever you want. But just like, don't book a Skyliner resort when the Skyliner's closed if you want to be there for the Skyliner. That would stink. Sometimes Disney springs things on us, but that's why it's nice. We can move you. You can move your booking if you need to, but
nope. That's a
Things
red
get
flag.
closed. If you're like, just you want to go and like do the Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin, just know like she's going down for refurb for a while. It's just, you might need to move your trip, Jason Allen.
Well, he's a galactic, what is it?
Superhero.
Superhero. Yeah.
Yes. He's saved me from Zurg many a time.
Well, on that note, we'll have him save us again so that we can go to bed. Take us away, Jess.
Ugh, I've gotten worse at this as it's gone on. This is like one of those things that I used to be better at, but we do really appreciate you guys hanging out with us during this time, and we hope that we've made your commute or your house cleaning time a little more enjoyable. Send your Disney Living friends our way. We are on all the social medias at Mouse Ears and Magical Chats, and let us know the mistakes that you've made or narrowly avoided, and so we can share your tips. So come back next week because we'll talk about something else that's not mistakes.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.